Okay, so before we formally start with our lesson for today, I would like you to access your Google Classroom. So the Google Classroom is already open. There will be folders there that contains the notepad for all the links that you will be needed, the PowerPoint and the videos that you will have as a supplementary for this lesson. Um, Please open the online whiteboard with the link written in the notepad there. Please access it using your browsers from your Google Chrome in your smartphones. Okay, next. So let's try to test it out. First, we'll start the lesson with a carefree question. What is the highlight of your senior high school life? I'll give you 1 minute for that. Okay, next. So let's check your answers here. Honor, yes, medals, contests, and one of you even answered being able to finish your research. Very good. Now, your congratulations for making it this far, grade 12. This is your research project and you're already done with your output from the topic, title, down to your summary and your conclusion. So the next step for you is the research presentation. Okay, let's go back to your online whiteboard. Let me erase first the contents. Okay, next, I would like you to have a certain word association. What are the words or what are the feelings and emotions, your notions about the research presentation? I'll give you 1 minute for that. Okay, let's check your answers. Okay, some of you answered it's hard, it's scary, yes, but also it's challenging and exciting. What if I tell you that your research presentation could be a highlight of your senior high school life? You don't believe me? Now, for it to become a highlight of your senior high school life, it has to be successful. But how do you even prepare for your research presentation? So I will be providing you with some of the tips and things that you need to prepare for your research presentation. Okay, so first and foremost, you must know the format of your thesis defense. Now, this is the first and most obvious tip. Now, knowing the format of your research presentation will allow you to get the necessary preparations done. If you're going to prepare a research poster or a research PowerPoint or a PowerPoint of your research. Now, what are the things you must consider for making your research presentation or your research PowerPoint per se? Now, you don't want to prepare 1,000 slides or 100 slides just to prepare for a 15-minute presentation, or you don't want to have 10 slides for 1 hour presentation. So you must know the format, if it's a colloquia or a panel, or both if needed, and you must practice it. Okay, now going back to our online boards, let's have the students here. I will mute the rest of the class. Let's hear your answers. Okay, thank you for your answers. Now the answers that we are able to get is that it is important for you to practice your presentation so that you know your material. Okay, you must know it in the first place. You must know your material inside and out. It's important for you to know it because you're the one who did the paper in the first place. And if you have contributed to your group's effort in doing the research, then it won't be a problem for you. Next, you must practice your presentation among your group mates so that you know how long it takes. You must time your presentation so that you will be able to meet the deadline and the time marks for you while you are discussing it, so that you can, again, lastly, to refine the presentation so that you can omit or add important things in your presentation. So practice, of course, makes perfect. The next thing, let me ask you, what if you are asked, or do you have any suggestions when you are faced with something, or when you are asked a question that you don't know? Or let me refine my question. What will you do, or what do you suggest researchers to do when they don't know the answer to the question? Okay, let's check your answers. Okay, yes. Okay, so if you don't know the answer to the awkward, dreaded question, then you don't blatantly say that you don't know the answer in the first place. Of course, you don't simply answer, I don't know the answer to that, sir. I'm sorry. But instead, you must take a review of your RRL, or you must take a look around of your related studies so that you can suggest an answer. It's better for you to suggest an answer than not answer at all. For example, I don't know, sir, but I think that, then you fill it up because of the variables x and y, but you will need to do blank in order to find out. So, of course, your suggestion in answering the question is always dependent in your background studies. You don't bluntly point out some possible answers without any basis. Okay? And um, also you may clarify to your panelists that, for example, like this, sir, in page 54 of my research, you will see there, oh sorry, if in page 5 of my research, you will see there my scope and limitations. Your question is not included in our scope and in our research. I think that, I think that, or that's the time you suggest the answer. You don't simply say that you don't know anything about it and you stand there without being clueless. So, yeah. Of course, you will be able to answer the questions when you know the core content of your research. Of course, there are some content that you will be expected to know well, but this is set by you, not the panelists. Okay, so the core content of your research is determined by you as the researcher, not the examiner himself. What you choose to cover in your research in the first place is like choosing your own battleground for your research presentation. So the best strategy for you to present is to present what you know best of your research. Of course, this also entails you to be knowledgeable about your research from inside and out, so that, because of course it's your work. So class, going back to our, I would like to ask you the question: how do you deal with nerves when it comes to discussions, to research presentations? I will be giving you 1 minute to submit your answers using our online whiteboard. Okay, so how do you deal up with nerves? Okay, yes. Okay, so showing up. Oh, so to summarize all of this, um, showing up with no planning is planning to fail, or failure to plan is planning to fail. One symptom of being nervous in your research presentation is when you talk really fast and you try to show how much you know and speak in long streams of questions, and you get the question all jumbled up, and sometimes you stray away from the question itself. So if you're going through something like this, or if you're going to go through something like this, please take a deep breath and pause and slow down, and give yourself time to breathe so that you can recall the question. What if ever that you forget the question? Now, as a researcher, now it's okay to ask the panelists again. Like, if you forget the question, it's okay to say, "Sorry, I got lost in my train of thought there, and I beg your pardon," or "What was the question again?" So the panelists will be welcoming to tell you what is the answer, or what is the question, or rather, what is the question again, so that you can recall what you are talking about. Don't be shy to interact with your panelists. Now remember always that your panelists always expect you to be a bit nervous in your research defense. Of course, they have been through the same thing. and these are experts of your research, of the research culture, and they are also experts of your strand. And do not think of your panelists as somewhat as your enemy that you want to defeat, or a big boss of a game. Instead, these examiners or these panelists will help you to overcome the nervousness and to discuss your presentation in a better way. Don't be scared of them, and they will help you through it if necessary. So ultimately, success is and failure is determined mainly by the content of your thesis. If your thesis is good, you actually did the work, there is no reason for you to feel bad. It is very unlikely for you that your nervous presentation or your nervous performance will be the cause of your failure to present your work. Uh, uh, to present your work. Um, uh, uh, in other words, if your research is good, the content is good, you did it your own, um, then it's very unlikely for you to fail your research presentation. So to sum it up, read through your thesis, read up on one or two key points if necessary, practice your presentation, and trust that whatever happens will be okay. Now, being a researcher is a way for you to contribute to the knowledge of your strand. And in your case, you are ABM students. So, when you contribute to the strand, you contribute to the knowledge. Now, when you contribute to the knowledge, you help the aspect or that sector grow. However, in the Philippines, I want you to read an article which we sent to you. Okay, after reading that article, what do you say about the culture of research in the Philippines? Okay, so you think the article states that in the Philippines, now there is a lack of the culture of research, and sometimes, di ba, sometimes we have there are some policies and some actions that are lacking research-based data. What should we do then? And what should we do then? Okay, let's check your answers in the board. Okay, so you may share also and stay with you the culture of research. Okay, so I will as your journal entry for today. Please write this in your logbooks. What is your pledge in promoting the culture of research in the Philippines? Okay, so please read your answers. Okay, thank you. Okay, so your journey as a researcher does not end when you finish your research presentation and you publish your work. It again starts with it's a cycle, and you must continue moving forward as you contribute to the world of research in your chosen field. That's it for my lesson for today. Thank you.